Today we're at the Montreal Museum of Contemporary Art for the exhibition Zoo. I'm presently with the Associate Curator, Mr. François Le Tourneur. How are you today?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Good. So tell us about what is the exhibition Zoo?
Zoo is a temporary exhibition, which is an international exhibition featuring approximately 20 artists with around 40 works. And the basic focus of the exhibition is the relationship between contemporary art and the animal world.
So talk to us about different works that we can find here.
Well, it's really quite a broad variety. As I said before, it's an international selection of works, so all the artists that are featured in the show are quite prominent on the international contemporary art scene. A few works are from 1975, older time slot, but most of the works are very recent, and there's a very broad diversity of relationships between art and the animal world, which is examined in the exhibition.
So what's the main influence for them to create these works?
Okay, so it really depends on the artists. Some of them are interested in the history of the relationship between humans and animals, so they'll be looking at, for instance, the different institutions like zoos or natural history museums or any other type of social structure or institution through which this relationship between the animal world and society has been constructed. Others use animals as a kind of metaphor for human relationships and so on.
So presently we're in front of the works of artist Ai Weiwei. Why don't you talk to us about his works and his influences?
Ai Weiwei is a Chinese artist who is a multidisciplinary artist. He works with not only with installation, but also he uses web media and all kinds of media. This is a particular piece. It's a piece called Circle of Animals, and it's a reinterpretation of a work that was actually a historical work. So the original piece was designed by an Italian Jesuit named Giuseppe Castiglione in the 18th century. It was a commission of the emperor, Qianlong Emperor, in the day, and they were part of a big water clock that was in the Yuanmingyuan, which was the old summer palace near Beijing, which was the residence site of the emperors. And this is a place that was pillaged by the French and the British in 1860. And many of these heads, the original heads, not these ones, but many of these heads disappeared actually. And they sort of became a symbol for what historians call the century of humiliation that China went through from the 19th century to the mid-20th century.
So later on in the show, François Le Tourneur is going to take us around and show us different works. So don't touch that dial. Stay tuned. Nous sommes de retour. We are back in the Montreal Museum of Contemporary Art, and I'm presently with the Associate Curator, François Le Tourneur. François, what do we have in front of us?
Here we have a large-scale installation by Montreal-born artist David Altmaid, who now lives in New York. A piece entitled The Spectre in the Hand, Le Spectre et la Main, which is a piece that was commissioned especially for the exhibition. So the artist was informed of the theme of the show, and he responded with this work. If you look at the piece from afar, you will notice that it has a very strong sense of movement and almost decomposition as well. So this piece could be said also to refer to certain type of visual representations of animals in movement and taxonomy, such as Muybridge and other photographers or artists.
So here we have some video. Talk to us about this artist.
Right. So this is a piece by Kevin Schmidt, who's an artist who's born in Ottawa, is based in Vancouver. And the piece is called Sad Wolf. And it is a piece that was shot in the Toronto Zoo. So here you have an example of an actual literal case of reference to the zoo. And the animal that's mainly depicted in the installation is what's known as the Mmca wolf, which is the last wolf in the hierarchy of the pack. And what the show features is this wolf's repeated attempts to integrate the rest of the pack. It's frustrating for the viewer to witness because he never does, and he's constantly being rejected by his peers.
So now we're outside, and this is God's Window.
Yep. This is a piece by Trevor Gould, who is an artist who was born in Johannesburg, South Africa, and now lives and works in Montreal. This is another piece which was done especially for the exhibition. As a matter of fact, if you look at the frame of the structure, the metal structure of the piece, it mimics the entrance of the metro, which you have right next to us. And in this particular case, you have the obvious reference to the zoo, but also to entertainment, I suppose, as a whole, the language of comics, and the whole dynamics of looking at exhibiting. You see that the animal is sort of spotted with mirrors which reflect images of the viewer, so you kind of catch yourself looking at the animal itself.
Very interesting exhibition. If people want to get more information, is there a website they can go to?
Yes, absolutely. So it's www.macm.org, as in Musée d'Art Contemporain de Montréal, macm.org, and the exhibition finishes on September 3rd. So I would urge everyone to come visit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right.